Welcome to Wisdom of the World. Today I'm going to tell a story from Myanmar. It is called The Clever Monkeys, and it is about stupid is as stupid does. And it goes like this. Once upon a time there was a hat maker. He made hats of straw and he sold them at the market. And he was on his way to the market, and it was quite a climb up over the hill to where the market was. And so halfway, there's this beautiful big banyan tree. He thought, okay, let me just take a little break from my hike. You know how it goes. You sit down and into the sun and get all dry. So the guy just slept away. By the time he woke up, he could see from the sun it was already late and that he needed to hurry up. So he looked for his hats, and he was shocked he couldn't find any hats. So he looked all around the tree, everywhere, he couldn't find any hats. Then he heard sort of a bit of a scampering and laughter way up into the tree, and he looked way up into the tree. And there he saw a whole group of monkeys, and they were all wearing his hat. And so he was furious. He started yelling at these monkeys, come down and give me my hat back. And then the monkeys just imitated him. You know, they laughed. They thought it was hilarious. So, but it also gave him an idea. He said, these monkeys are behaving like ill-mannered children. So what about if I, treat it that way? So he, he first put his hat on and he says, I'm wearing such a beautiful hat. And then all the monkeys up in the tree imitated him and did exactly the same thing. And then he took his hat off and he just sort of moved it all around, left and right and left and right, and then he put it on his hat again. And again he saw all the monkeys did exactly the same. Then, more time, he took his hat, put it on, and then he says, now I don't like this hat anymore. And he threw his hat down. And then he looked up and all the monkeys did exactly the same thing. So they all threw their hats down. And he was happy. So he collected all his hats. Now the monkeys obviously were furious. The guy could go on to the market and sell his hats. Now, this hat maker had a son who took over his trade. And that son again had also children. And the oldest of those children also took on the trade of hat maker. And so it happened that, let's say 20 years later, the grandson of this guy climbed up that same mountain to again sell hats at the village. And so, the same thing, he had actually heard his grandfather tell him this story. But still, the same thing happened to him. He climbed up the hill, he got a little tired, sat down, and he just snored away. Woke up late in the afternoon. And again, he woke up, and he did not find the hats. He looked up, and this is when the story of his grandfather really started to hit home at him. He looked up and he saw the monkeys all wearing his hats. But he had heard the trick from his grandfather, so he first, put this hat on and said, oh, I really like this hat. It's so good looking and pretty. And then the second thing that he did was, took the hat to the left, took it to the right, took it up and, sideways, and then he looked up at the monkeys did exactly the same thing. So, and then he took the hat and he looked at it and like with a real sign of disgust, and he just said, I don't like this hat anymore. And he threw it to the side. And then he looked up at the monkeys. And the monkeys were laughing and laughing and laughing like anything. And they threw their hats up, but they caught him again and put him on a hat. And the grandson did not know what to do now. So he finally, one of those monkeys jumped down right in front of him and said, "Oh, I can see your grandfather taught you a trick or two and told you about this story that happened." "Well," said the monkey to him, "we have grandfathers too." Thank you.